Hey, welcome to episode 2 of Crazy Shit I Did Last Week, my podcast. And I'm shooting the second episode from another cruise ship balcony, just like the first one. It's kind of maybe becoming a theme. And I want to start this show off with a quote that has been really hitting me hard lately. And that is, most people fear running out of money, but what they should really be afraid of is wasting their lives. I know for me, I'm probably 30 times more wealthy than I was 15 years ago. And already 15 years ago, I was doing okay. With all of that, I don't think I actually pursue my dreams any more fearlessly than I did at that time. Isn't that nuts? It's like really sad for me to think about. No matter all of the wealth that I've gained comparatively to where I was, I still worry about running out of money and worry about not having enough money to pursue my dreams, even though I have like 30 times as much money as I did 15 years ago. Actually, 15 years ago, I probably pursued my dreams a little more fearlessly now that I'm on a podcast and just admitting this to myself. Gosh, that's crazy. I might have to do some more thinking after this podcast, but I want to get on to a couple other things that I've been thinking about. The difference of equipment versus action. I do a lot of recording, so I often want to buy a nicer microphone. But the thing is, no nicer microphone is actually equal to me just putting in effort to recording. It's kind of the equivalent of also going to the gym. There's no supplement that you can buy, none, no matter how much money you have, no supplement that you can buy that is equivalent of just showing up to the gym and working out really hard every day for like an hour. That's another thing I've been really trying to keep in mind, because it's really easy to just press purchase on a supplement or a microphone, and it really takes work and effort to show up and actually, like this, with a microphone in front of me, talk and create something. Focus on creating. This is just for myself. Focus on creating, not obtaining. Other things, crash parties in LA. I was in LA about a month ago or so. I crashed a couple of parties in LA. When I say I crashed to parties, I was not invited to the parties. You're supposed to have a ticket to be able to get into the parties or some kind of pass. And I just walked past security. I just crashed it. I just went in. And I realized if you walk like you're supposed to be there, most of the time people won't stop you. Even the security, even if they see that, oh wow, you're supposed to have a little wristband on or whatever, maybe they don't get paid enough to actually chase somebody. Like they don't care enough. At least that's what I found out. I crashed like 3 parties in LA. And boy, I had the best time. And the coolest party that I crashed was this creators party with all these like famous YouTubers and everything. I knew some people that were going to it, but I didn't have a ticket. I was like, I know them. I really want to go to this party. Once I was actually in the party, then I asked a couple of people and I found out who organized the party, because it happens once a year in LA. And I'm probably going to be there next year, like in that same location at that same time. And so I found out who organized the party and I made friends with them. And I was like, hey, I'm not really supposed to be here. I didn't go into details that I just like literally crashed the party, but I was like, yeah, I didn't like really get offered to be at this party, but I've heard that you organize it. How do I get on the list to be able to actually come here next year? And so he gave me his card and he's like, just email me. I'll get you an invite for next year. So how cool is that? Anytime you get a chance, you really don't have anything to lose. Just crash a party, you know? Well, as long as you're not doing anyone harm or anything like that, you might make some great friends. Worst case, they do stop you from going in and then you're in the exact same place that you already were prior to the party, which is you weren't going to be able to get in anyway. Last thing I'll talk about in this episode of this podcast is some relationship stuff that I've been thinking about with dating. Boy, my philosophy on dating and relationships has changed, just like my life has changed. I've had a really long relationship with the mom of my daughters, learned so much through that, made a million mistakes in that relationship, and hopefully learned from it and what I can take into my next relationship. The kind of 2 things that I've been thinking about trying to do or focus on going forward, really 3 things. Okay, so one of them is to try and pretend that I'm never going to have sex with the girl that I'm going to be in a serious relationship with. Just imagine if I was going to be in a serious relationship with this person and never have sex with him or anyone for the rest of my life, would I still want to be in a relationship with this person? Do we actually have enough fun together just doing all of the things that we like to do, that if sex wasn't a factor, which who knows how much of a factor it's really going to be in your relationship after you're with somebody for like 10, 15, even 5 years, like long 20 years, 30 years, which if I married somebody now, I would be with them, for potentially another 40 years. So who knows how sex is really going to play into the end of that relationship. So really really what I want if I'm looking for a long-term partner is somebody that I just love to spend time around and just love to be around regardless of my sexual chemistry with them or any of that stuff, right? It's more just how they make me feel and the things that we enjoy doing together and our similar life goals, the things that we want to work on together. So that leads me into number 2 thing that I've been thinking about. To try and date girls, if I'm going to date at all, that have the same goals as me, that we both contribute to what the other person wants to do in their life. Like, I love making music and performing, and that's like the most important thing to me is creating, other than I would say my daughters. I want to be with somebody that helps me in that way, that helps me towards creating. Like, all of my male friends that are my closest friends, we all do the same thing. That's why we're super close friends, is because they're, like Sam Mangobat. He's a great singer and songwriter, vocal producer, and all those things, and video producer. So we often do those things together. My friend Adam Cario is an incredible juggler. And so we're always talking about that and our shows and how to improve them and different things that we're experiencing together, doing similar types of shows on cruise ships. So my friends that I'm really close to, they do the same things as me. But for some reason, within a romantic relationship, I've always kind of excluded that. And I've thought, well, they don't have to do the same thing as me. They could just be beautiful and nice, and we like talking to each other and maybe listen to the same music. And I've realized that after a long period of time goes by, I want to be able to do the things that I love with the person that I love. And so I'm more concentrating on that. And then that kind of leads me into the third thing that I've been thinking about in terms of dating and having a partner is I think that together you should be better than apart, meaning like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, to where what you can do together and what you can accomplish together is greater than what you could do alone. And now I think a lot of couples that maybe don't have a certain like creative outlet, or they're not really building a business or something like that, I think a lot of those couples, what they do is just children become the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Like the fact that there's a mom and dad and a family and that sort of aspect, that becomes the thing that they're kind of working on. That's their project together. That's the important thing that they create, is their children and raising their children. And then maybe even just like being a family and grandparents and all of that after their kids grow up. So I think that's what happens to like most couples that don't have some kind of certain creative or business type outlet that they're building. And that's cool. I think that's awesome. If you're not creating a family together and children, why not create something else? Or create both if possible. Thanks for listening to my podcast. Let me know if you have any thoughts, and sending lots of love to all you guys.